There's an industry in Canada called the Premarin industry. They harvest pregnant mare urine for estrogen replacement therapy, and unfortunately a lot of people just take what their doctors prescribe and they don't realize that there's a lot of vegetable-based alternatives, and there's an industry that literally keeps draft mares pregnant so that they can harvest the urine and the estrogen out of the urine, because draft horses have a higher volume of urine. And so the boys that are born into that industry are pretty disposable. Little Bear was one of those baby boys, and he was kept in a holding pen with about 200 other babies for a sale. He's going to show off his scars here on the back. But that holding pen was attacked by bears, by grizzlies in the middle of the night, and he was one of the survivors. And so the ladies that had gone up there, that went up every year to rescue babies from this industry, saw him and knew that he could survive his wounds, and so he came to us as we force loaded him into a trailer repeatedly until he bashed a hole into his skull that was about this big around. And they surrendered him to Bend Equine, and through that process they had to do a major surgery to be able to reconstruct his face, and so with Isaac there was a lot of fear that he had to work through in coming here. And the amazing thing about that, though, is even as fearful as he was, he's still valuable. Like, he's still no less valuable than any horse we've ever adopted, and he always had an ounce of hope and an ounce of wanting to move forward, but his fear was standing in the way. And so our job in Isaac's life has been to help him overcome that fear and to help him move forward. It's really neat to see kids who have been abused and have faced fear and have kind of retreated within themselves, meet a horse like Isaac and see that hope of where Isaac used to be versus where he is today, and that he'll actually walk up to a child in the paddock and you know, reach out his nose to greet them, and that's something that he never would have done when he first came out here. He actually also faced a horrific head trauma at the hands of a human. There was a young man that worked at a local camp in town, and he was asked to find a new home for a horse that just wasn't really working out with their camp program, and he had a leg injury that kept having to be bandaged. And the kid evidently told the camp, sure, I'll take care of it. And instead, he took him out into the Deschutes National Forest, and he actually shot him in the head twice.
Oh my goodness.
And left him for dead. And Hero, as we've named him now, he survived. And not only did he survive, but he wandered around in the wilderness for about 2 weeks with a halter, dragging a lead rope. He wandered into a hunter's camp, and they knew he was injured, but they had no idea the extent of his injuries, and so they called the sheriff's department, and Bend Equine got involved, and they brought him in and were just amazed that he was still standing. And when they started doing all the tests, they brought in, it's a teaching hospital, and they brought in their students, and they said, you guys need to see these results. You'll never see anything like this again. He'd lost over half of his blood volume. When they did the x-rays, they found 2 bullets that had missed every valuable piece of his brain that, you know, would take something from him. And yet, not only was he still standing, but he was walking right up to people and greeting them, and just had no fear and no hatred, no animosity, nothing harbored within him. But he just chose to survive, and he chose to move forward. And I've worked with a young lady that was really working through some pain in her life and had resorted to cutting, and yet was still feeling worthless because of that, then, as a result of that. And she said that when she got to write Hero, that she could feel the chains falling off of her, and that that she knew that if Hero could shine through his scars, that she would be able to. A gift from Troy for Kim. That's her inspiration point, so she can write her books, be able to see over the ranch. She's actually written 4 books now. The first 2 books, Hope Rising and A Bridge Called Hope are short stories of the horses and the kiddos. And then Blind Hope is a book about one of our former staff members and the dog that she rescued. And Fierce Beauty is about how we as women need to kind of throw down our little princess crowns of entitlement that the world tries to give us and pick up our king's sword of encouragement to encourage others and to guard the hearts of others. The other thing that the ranch really has a huge heart for is providing food for our families and being able to teach our families how to grow their own food. And so last year we added this retaining wall, and all of those trees along the retaining wall are all fruit trees. And then we were also blessed this year to receive a designated gift to build a greenhouse. And so this is a brand new structure on our facility as well.